The course is for anyone who really feels like they want to improve relationships, performance, without stress, without anxiety, just being relaxed and being themselves. So if someone is watching this and they're saying to themselves, well, I do feel anxiety and stress to be, quote, on. They're concerned about, making mistakes. They might be perfectionists. They might micromanage others, even though they know it's not healthy to do so. They might be very sensitive to criticism, and they know that's not helpful. They might get defensive when they're talking to others. And it really shows up most in your relationships, your closest relationships, and then at work, depending on what you do. If you're remote, it might not show up as much, but if you're with people, that's when you might feel triggered. So anyone that gets triggered, anyone that wants to figure out a strategy, how do I get less triggered? It'd be a great course for you.
This course is for people who are ready to take ownership of their own actions, responsibilities, and even thoughts. People who might be in destructive patterns in their relationships, whether at work or in their personal life, and want to do something about it, want to take total ownership and control back. By that same token, people who are ready to ask for what they really want. I think sometimes we believe that we can't ask for and go for what we really want and remain in a state of flow. And I think those two things actually work together, and that's what we're going to teach, is asking for what you really want, and then identifying all the ways the ego shows up to tell us, no, you can't have that, or this is not right for you, or you can't work with this type of person. And we're going to slowly untangle all of those lies that are here out of a good intention. The ego is trying to protect us, but we no longer need that protection. It's a very old, outdated system that once we understand how it works, we can actually leverage it and use it to our advantage, and that's who this course is for.
It's multiple problems, but the problems we're solving for are feeling that we're trying to force something, that we're trying to fight for something. Our gifts are things that we do unconsciously well. We don't have to think about our gifts. That's why they're gifts. We don't force it. It's just who we are. And wouldn't it be cool if you can kind of stay in your lane where you're gifted and consciously and intentionally create strategies so you stay where you're gifted, and you have other people compliment you where you're not gifted. You're not trying to be everything to everyone. And so you can stay in this flow state where it's not hard. It's actually easy. And then you can relax and have fun. So if you find yourself forcing things, fighting, resisting, kind of swimming upstream, that's the problem we're trying to solve.
This course is solving for the problem of people who feel stuck or are in patterns of achievement. They reach a certain level of achievement and hit a flat line, or believe that they cannot continue to go forward. That what we're teaching and what we're informing people of is this mechanism and these strategies that break through any sort of belief system. So we're shedding old identities and adopting new identities. And how I would summarize that is releasing of control with the way that we see our future going. Little do we know, God, the universe, whatever we refer to it as, is much better at creating our future than we are in our minds, than we are capable in our minds. We're going to teach those strategies on how to release that control. Now, that might be a sticking point with people with, well, what do you mean? I run a business, I run an organization, I need to be in control. There are certain elements that you will control in your business. We're talking about things that you perceive in your mind that you need to micromanage or control other people or manipulate certain outcomes. We're going to teach how releasing that idea of needing to control actually creates more abundance, more fulfillment, more fun, and more flexibility in getting results in your business and in your personal life. So what happens when the ego starts to rear its ugly head and protect us is that we need to understand what it's protecting us from. And what it's protecting us from is feeling our own emotions. And somewhere along the way, we learned that it's not safe to feel certain types of emotions. And if we were to feel them, something bad would happen. And so the ego activates, thinks it's helping us, and develops this program which is already running to prevent us from actually going deeper with those emotions. So this is unique in that, this probably isn't widely accepted yet in the masculine world, but to be in your true power in your masculine is to feel your emotions and to be in touch and in tune and to understand them, and then to express them in a very authentic way. And so what we're going to teach here is not only how to read and understand and to untangle the ego, but what happens when we do that, when we get to that core of how we actually feel about something, and then be able to express it in a way that leads to something beautiful, because that's how it works. As we express it, it moves, it changes, it transforms into something that's going to serve us. And in this world that is moving more towards artificial intelligence and other machine-oriented things, the only thing that we have is our emotions. That's what actually separates us from AI. And so we are returning to a way to understand how to do that. And this is what this course is going to help teach and coach people to do.
The problem that we can help you with is if you're afraid of really setting high goals. And this is really common. You might be working really hard and you've plateaued. But what if you're kind of plateaued and you're afraid to set higher goals because you're afraid of working harder and you're already working hard enough? That can be a very deflating challenge. So the way we help you with that is we change the incentive for creating goals from extrinsic, outside of you, to intrinsic. And when you change that identity, then you can go for it. You're not concerned about failing. You get joy back in your life in going for that goal. And the best thing about it is when you achieve an intrinsic goal, you're not deflated. You're not depressed. It's actually energizing and motivating because you know there's so much more.